First things first, I just want to apologize for whatever fucking sound that is in the background. I have no clue what that is. I think someone's like moving something like across the street from me. But yeah, I think that's the sound you keep hearing throughout this video, but I think it kind of goes away towards the end. I'm not sure, but I just noticed that while I was just going over this. Anyway, let's just go on to the video. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another brand new video. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking about the time I got kicked out for smoking weed. Now, this is like not a very super old story, but this happened about like almost 2 months ago now. This was shortly after I turned 18. So yeah, also I have a story time coming up next about the first time trying Vicodin. So yeah, so stay tuned for that story. Like and subscribe if you guys want that. Comment something funny down below. I'd love to hear some funny comments. So without further ado, let's just jump right into it. Also, don't mind the gameplay in the background. That game's called APB Reloaded, and boy, I haven't played that game in fucking years, but oh my god, everyone is so sweaty. Like, I was like actually genuinely trying to win. So yeah. Alright, so me and my parents and a lot of my family do not get along very well, and it's been like that for like literally years, so that's not really anything new. However, this story time is just kind of crazy and it kind of sucked. Luckily, everything's alright now. You know, we're all good. And hold on, Nick Fiend moment here. Got this new melon ice flavor. It's honestly kind of like a banana-y flavor. It's actually really good. I like it. Anyway, so this happened, as I said before, about almost 2 months ago. So this story all takes place and I was high as shit at the time, right? I just taken a couple pretty good cart rips, not blinkers. I don't really hit blinkers. I'll make a video explaining that at some point if you guys want to hear that. But I wasn't hitting blinkers, but I was doing some pretty decent cart hits. So I was feeling pretty good, you know. I was decently high. So it's about like 10, 11, maybe 12. I don't remember the time. All I know is by the time I was back in bed, it was almost like 1 in the morning. So here's how this story started. So a little bit of background information. I was selling vapes to a bunch of people, including my sister, right? She wanted one and I taxed the shit out of her just because she has a fuck ton of money that she steals from me anyway. So I didn't really feel bad fucking taxing her for it. But yeah, her dumbass fucking left it sitting on her her nightstand or something. So her mom walked in the room and saw that, and yeah, so I'm just sitting in my bed high as hell watching some TikTok, right? Nothing crazy. Now, and my mom just barges in my room and holds the vape up to me, and she was like, "What is this?" And I just, listen, I was high, so I was kind of just like, vape. I mean, dude, not the response you want to respond with, but I mean, come on now. Like, she's not fucking retarded. Like, she knows exactly what it is, right? So I'm laying there and I'm getting fucking yelled at. She's like, "How did this end up in your sister's room?" And I'm like, "Fuck, I don't know." And she's like, "You gave this to her, didn't you?" And I was like, "No, of course I'm not gonna fucking tell the truth about it." But again, she wasn't stupid either. And she barges out of my room, and I go downstairs and we argue about it for a bit. I was like, "Dude, I didn't fucking give it to her," right? So I go back to bed. And at this point it's around 12, so I think this started sometime around like 11:30 ish. I don't know. But I get back into bed and it's almost like 1. It's like 12:40 something. Right, because I checked my phone because I was going to put it on the charger because I was going to bed. So I wake up, everything's fine so far, right? And I had work the next day. So I ended up going to work and everything was chilling, you know, had a decent day at work. Everything was alright, right? So I get home, I think it's like 5 or 6 o'clock or something like that. I think I went in at like 12 or something. I don't remember exactly what time I went in. But I come home and my grandma's there, and I guess they just had her over for dinner or something, right? And it was also, oh yeah, this was on Mother's Day. Yeah, I forgot. This was on Mother's Day. So she had her over for Mother's Day for a Mother's Day dinner. Or at least it was near Mother's Day or something like that. So I walk in, take my shoes off, go to my room, come back down, and I'll just ask him when dinner was ready. He's like, it's gonna be ready soon, but we need to have a serious discussion. So I sit down at the table, and she's like, I don't want this shit in my house. I went up to your room, and it smelled like weed. And well, she didn't find anything, obviously, because I have my shit in pretty good hiding spots. You're not gonna find it. But she was like, I do not want this shit in my house. It either gets out of my house or you're not welcome to stay here anymore. And I was like, listen, I didn't give it to her, okay? What I do with my body is my choice, right? And she's like, all right, well, this is my house and it's my choice. And she's like, so were you smoking weed in your room? And so I decided to be honest. I was like, yeah, I was. All right, yeah, I don't have any more. I smoked the rest of it last night. You can go check it if you want, right? And, I was like, well, shit. I mean, shit, I'll just say I got rid of it and all that, and everything should be fine, right? You're probably gonna get in a little bit of trouble, but, everything should be alright, right? And then she just didn't like that answer for some reason. Like, I was being genuinely honest with her, responding to her question. Like, she questioned it. It's not like I outright said it and, like, rubbed it in her face or anything. But, she was like, she started screaming. She's like, get the fuck out of my house. So I was like, well, shit. So we're arguing for a couple minutes, and she keeps saying, get the fuck out of my house right now, or I'm going to call the police. So I'm like, well, fuck, right? So I go up to my room, and I start packing all my shit. They didn't want to let me take my computer and all that, even though it was given to me, and I'm 18, so therefore it's legally mine. But I was going to worry about that later, because I wasn't going to be able to really move that at the moment anyway. So I was like, well, all right, whatever. I'll just come back with a police officer to come pick it up at a later date when I can actually move it, right? So I hit up my homie, and I'm like, hey, man, shit really hit the fan. I'm like for real kicked out. Like not like the shit she's threatened to do in the past. Like I'm for real kicked out this time. And he's like, give me a couple hours, man. I'm still at work, and I'll come scoop you, after that. And I was like, all right, cool. So I'm just stalling for a little bit. I'm like purposely taking forever, packing all my clothes, packing everything I want to bring with me, right? Now, my mom comes up to my room screaming, and she's like upset that I was packing my things. She's like, I want you out now. And then she's talking to my stepdad, who was also in the room because he wanted to monitor what I took for whatever weird reason. She was like, how do I get him on a 72-hour hold, right? Now, if you don't know what a 72-hour hold is I'm not even too sure of what it is myself. However, I think it's like getting put in like a mental hospital or something for 72 hours. Now, usually my stepdad kind of just goes along with what she says, but he was like, you can't. Like, just straight up said, like, you can't. Like, I was kicked out. I literally had to leave. And she was like trying to block the exit to my room, and while still telling me to get the fuck out of her house. Like, what did she want me to do? Jump out the window or something, man? Like, the fuck? But I was like, listen, I gotta go pack some shit, right? So I finished packing my shit, and at this point, I'm sitting downstairs in the living room on the couch. My sister's sitting next to me, and she's just not talking. She's she was obviously very distressed. She was just kind of just sitting there staring at her hands, like twiddling her thumbs and going on her phone from time to time. Funny enough, the vape was found in her room. She never found anything in my room. But yet, she got her phone back within, like, not even 12 hours. Explain to me how that works, but yet I'm the one being kicked out. I don't fucking know. Regardless, I'm just sitting there, and they're like, I think it's time for you to go outside. So I go outside, and my ride's still maybe an hour and a half away. So I was standing out there with three heavy-ass book bags and a laundry basket full of, like, fucking clothes and shit for, like, a good hour and an hour and a half in, like, the hot-ass weather, right? And eventually my ride comes and picks me up. So I'm like, all right, bet. I hop in, he's like, shit, man, what the fuck happened? Because he'd still not really fully understood, like, what happened, because he was at work. So, on the ride to his place, I kind of just briefly explained the whole thing. He's like, shit, dude, I'm so sorry, bro. Like, you can come stay here for a little bit. I'm not sure how long you can stay, because I got a roommate, but, you know, we'll see what happens, right? So I'm like, all right, bet. That'll give me time to kind of get shit situated and maybe find somewhere else to stay for a longer period of time, right? A couple weeks or so. That's a decent amount of time to go find somewhere else, right? So we get to the place, and at this point, the sun is already down. It's nighttime outside, and we get in, and I'm just like, at this point, the realization really set in that, fuck, like, I'm actually kicked out. Like, this is my reality now, because I've been kicked out a couple times before, but usually I was back home within a couple hours. My parents got all super apologetic and like, can you please come home and all that kind of shit, right? And I usually would, because I was like, well, I mean, I don't want to worry about where I'm going to be staying, so I mean, I'll just deal with their bullshit for a little while longer, right? Now, I get to this place, I'm just sitting down, I'm just laying down on the couch. I was just gonna bunk up on the couch, you know, go to sleep, set all my stuff on the chair next to it, right? Because it wasn't being used. So I'm just laying there, I'm watching TV a little bit. And we're just talking, and I was like, shit, man, I don't know what to do. Because at the time, I was still in school. I still had like a week or two left of school until I graduated. And I really needed to go to school because my grades were complete fucking horse shit. I mean, they still were ending the year, but I was afraid, like, if I really don't show up and I don't do anything, that, like, I'm not gonna fucking pass, right? And I just wanted school to be over, okay? School was probably both the best and worst time of my life, but I kind of wanted it to just be over so I can move on to a new chapter of my life. Now, I'm laying down, and honestly, this is probably like the most nervous I think I've been in a really long time, because I was like, shit, man, well, I can't stay here forever, but hey, at least I got somewhere to sleep. But try to take my mind off of it. Sometime around like midnight, I end up falling asleep. I had school the next day, but for obvious reasons I couldn't go. So I wake up, it's around like, I don't know, like 7, 8, 9, sometime around that. I didn't really check the time, but I just went through my phone, you know, responded to everybody, because I'd posted on my story, and a ton of people fucking slid up on it, asking what the hell happened, am I okay, and all that. Now, I noticed something. I had a missed call from my grandfather. Now, that's really unusual, because at this point, he hadn't called me in a very long time. The fuck? Oh, okay. Didn't even realize I had my my ringer on. I'm not sure if you guys could hear that, but sorry. So I noticed I had a missed call, so I called him back after I got out of the shower. And I was like, hey, what's up? And he was like, where are you? And I was like, oh, I'm just with my friend right now. I got kicked out. I explained the whole situation to him, and he's like, your mom's been worried sick about you. She stayed home from work today. And I was like, what do you mean she was worried? She wasn't worried sick when she fucking kicked me out. Like what? Now, obviously, you know, because most of her friends, I think, did not approve of that. And I think she realized finally, like, what she did was a little bit too overboard. Like, yeah, I understand you don't want that stuff in your house. That's right. But, like, the reason... Listen, the reason I really started drugs, it wasn't to seem cool. It wasn't to do what everyone else was doing. It was pretty much just because I had a lot going on, and that was pretty much what I was doing to cope with it. And I still am, right? Now, is it the best way to do it? Absolutely not. I am aware of that. Absolutely not. But, again, the whole reason I was doing that was partial. I'm not going to say the whole reason, because that's just completely unfair. But a decent chunk of it is because of her. She caused me a lot of stress in my life. We never got along. Shit with my family was never good. We were constantly arguing. And that takes a toll on you, whether you really like to admit it or not. Like, that takes a toll on you. Like, no one wants to live like that, right? Now, I was like, alright, I'll call her up later. So I'm just sitting on the... There's a little, like, balcony outside with chairs with a nice little view, right? So I was just sitting on the balcony out there on a little chair, just smoking and chilling. And I was like, fine, whatever. I'll call her and see what the hell she wants. So I call, and I was like, hey, you wanted to talk to me? And, she was like, no, you called me. And I was like, okay, my grandfather told me to call you, so I did, right? And she pretended to know nothing about it. Like, I was like, okay, I'm not dumb. What do you want? And she was like, you can come home if you agree to not do that shit, right? And I was like, okay, now you want me home? We could have saved this whole mess if you actually wanted to talk and have a, you know, a normal discussion last night, right? So I was like, okay, well, you know, I'll come back, right? So I get home, they search me, go through all my bags and shit. Don't find anything. I snuck literally all of it back in, by the way. I'm not gonna explain how, just in case they see this video. But yeah, literally had all of my shit. it was, listen, the way I hit it, honestly, was a pretty proud moment of myself. I was like, oh shit, that actually fucking worked. Like, what? But yeah, so I get in, and, you know, we go to the store, grab some stuff. And then she, you know, said to all of her friends that I came back home, even though we were on the phone for like an hour, and she was like crying and all that stuff. Granted, I knew it was fake. I could tell when she's fake crying and when she's real crying. There's a very obvious difference. It's hard to explain, but there's a very, very obvious difference. So, but I was like, okay, whatever, you know. I can't stay here forever, and so far, no one has agreed to let me stay with them long term yet. So I was like, okay, let's not blow this opportunity, because she might change her mind. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna, you know, do the right thing, come home, you know, apologize for everything, and go from there. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened. I get home, had to go get a new laptop, because, you know, they took the computer away, even though it was completely mine, but it is what it is. I needed an upgrade anyway, so I mean, I wasn't really too upset about it. Got this laptop, and it's honestly pretty much better, minus maybe the storage, but that's pretty much about it. I gotta upgrade that at some point anyway, but I'm not really home that much anymore, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, that's pretty much how that happened. But yeah, trying to think if I missed anything. I don't think I did. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I know it's a little bit of a longer story time this time, but I hope you guys did enjoy it. Please leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. And my next story time is going to be about the first time trying Vicodin. So yeah, have a good night, guys. Peace.